are talking about the movie Dark Veil. This one directed and written by Jason M.J. Brown. He is the man behind the bizarrely titled A Date with Ghosts, which I also reviewed on this channel. So this is a micro-budgeted gothic haunting horror movie, and it focuses on this couple as they are travelling back from the fair. So they kind of like need to save a bit of time due to a family emergency and try and cut through this area called the Vale. When they're there, they have car trouble and then seem to be trapped in this kind of like spiritual zone, which is controlled by the ghost of this long dead bride who doesn't seem to let them leave, and they end up spending, well, a long time there, shall we say. So let's chat Dark Veil. So what works with this movie? First of all, go over the positives. I have to say, this movie does try and do have some interesting ideas that are maybe not typical of your regular kind of like haunting movie. It tries to be a bit more of a kind of a supernatural mystery, and you know, and have a kind of more of a kind of a far-reaching mythology, so to speak. Is it successful? Well, maybe no, but I appreciated the attempt. It does have some good location shooting here. A lot of it is kind of, you know, focused in this kind of like this old sort of gothic manor, which looks suitably spooky. And there are some kind of quite nice kind of exterior shots as well. And I also kind of quite liked the attempt to have our kind of main characters just be very kind of typical kind of like regular people ultimately, who just seem like they're very kind of like standard people that you'll see in any kind of like the UK town. So that was I quite liked as well. But here's the thing with this film: it's extremely low budget, and for a start, the budget can't quite stretch to the ambition of this movie. There is some horrendous green screen, especially with kind of like these in-car shots. Oh, it's really noticeable. And I just don't know why it kind of didn't seem necessary to me. They could have maybe done something else and not stick it so badly. The visual effects here are all kind of very low-fi, basically low tech. They're kind of like the superimposed mist effects, the kind of the ghostly shots. Everything here looks like very kind of cheap video effects. And again, obviously that's kind of down to the kind of the budgetary restraints here, but some of the stuff, I mean, I appreciate that you can do so much with a ghost, but the mist effects, the kind of Cara effects, you could have kind of cut that out. I don't think it would have affected the film, to be quite honest with you. I kind of quite like the makeup effects of the bride, I've got to say. But in our backstory of the actual bride that we get, I don't know why, I'm not spoiling anything for you, but I don't know why she'd be going around in a wedding dress with her veil down. You know, what happens. You'll see what I mean when it just seems like that seems unnecessary and kind of clunky. That would be in real life. Anyway, I'm kind of going off track here. The acting is a little strained. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like these are not obviously predominantly professional actors here, and as such, obviously, it comes across like some of these. They're struggling a little bit with kind of really not being nervous in front of a camera. They do seem very unsure for the most part, the majority of the cast here. I did like Exposition Guy, I'll call him, this guy that they kind of bump into. He actually seems quite natural, but the leads don't seem particularly comfortable being natural in front of the camera. There's also some bizarre edits in this movie where we see the aftermath of an argument, but we won't see the argument and stuff like that. Doesn't kind of like make sense. And then there's some huge logic issues. We have a time jump, or a couple of time jumps in this film that simply don't make sense. And we meant to believe that people have been trapped in this area for years, but the woman is still wearing perfect makeup and stuff like that. And well, a whole bunch of things basically. I'm not going to kind of like go on the minutiae for too much, but there's a lot of things that just don't make sense and just don't seem a little bit silly. You know, we've seen this before in other horror films. I remember Grave Encounters have this kind of like they're trapped in this kind of time zone, but I feel it's handled better in other properties here. you know, this definitely has a definite British flavour and has that kind of like that gothic feel that I think they're trying to go for, the kind of the classic kind of Hammer feel. But they're just maybe isn't enough experience here, and also just not enough budget to make it a truly enthralling film. I appreciated the effort in kind of trying to make something which has it's not just your standard kind of haunting movie and have maybe these other elements involved here. So, you know, fair play to have something which is maybe a little has ambition, but I feel it needs to be a little tightened up in regards to the script. And if you can't afford to do scenes even somewhat well, maybe not do them, is just my opinion. Green screen, I'm looking at you. So overall, should you see this film? I would say if you like, you know, if you're just into low budget movies, you may get a kick out of that, but it's such a kind of like, you know, such an indie kind of low budget, micro budget film that I feel a lot of audiences, if you feel like films like The Conjuring, then you'll simply be disappointed with the kind of the lack of production value in this movie, and maybe some of the kind of the amateurish kind of like decisions that are made here. So I can't recommend this as a whole for just general audiences, only for just people who really like kind of like small indie movies and kind of want to support them. So I would say I'll give this movie a 4 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.